Hello, I'm Eric Elliott from WNEG TV. I'd like to introduce you to a little girl with a very special heart, Katie Testament. Born with several heart defects, Katie has endured 3 major heart surgeries, a surgery to control severe acid reflux. She's had a feeding tube placed in her stomach, 4 cardiac catheterizations, MRIs, a spinal tap, and a number of gastrointestinal tests, all before her 3rd birthday. Katie has a rare heart defect called Ebstein's anomaly, a condition that resulted in practically no right ventricle, one of the 4 chambers of the heart. She also has pulmonary artesia and left ventricle non-compaction. Her heart defects were spotted during an ultrasound before her birth. Just minutes after Katie was born at Northeast Georgia Medical Center in Gainesville, her oxygen levels started to dip and she was placed on a ventilator in preparation for transport to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta of Egleston, ranked one of the top children's hospitals in the country for pediatric cardiac care. At a week old and weighing about 6 pounds, Katie underwent the first of 3 planned heart surgeries. The second heart surgery, the Glenn, took place at 3 months of age, and the third, the Fontan, took place in July 2009 when she was only 2 years old.
Can you say hi? Hi, we love you.
Would you like some more ice? You love ice, don't you?
The purpose of the heart surgeries wasn't to make a normal heart for Katie, but to create a half heart that she could live with. Through a number of admissions, Katie has spent an estimated 6 months of her life at Egleston Sibley Heart Center. At several times, the doctors were concerned that Katie's heart wasn't pumping enough oxygenated blood to her gut, and it was dying. The treatment required heavy antibiotics and IV nutrition for multiple weeks. Thankfully, Katie didn't require any additional surgery, but Katie later became dependent on tube feedings. As a single ventricle patient, Katie will require careful medical follow-ups and treatments for the remainder of her life. And there is always the possibility that someday she may require a heart transplant. And since she lives with such a special heart, even the simplest of colds could require stays in the hospital. At home, Katie's care has required multiple medications, breathing treatments, and special formula fed to her through a feeding pump. Katie's road to recovery has been challenging at times, and for her parents, living with the fear of what could happen to her special heart hasn't been easy. But Katie is one of the most joy-filled children you'll meet. Her personality is cheerful, her smile is irresistible, and her energy is awe-inspiring, especially given her special heart. She loves meeting other children, playing with her princesses and Sesame Street toys, and showing off what she's recently learned.
How does a princess dance? How's she dance? Yeah. How does she smile?
The Gainesville community is fortunate to have advocates in the fight against childhood cardiovascular disease. It is our pleasure to honor Mr. Jim Walters this evening for his extraordinary generosity in the community. With his support and the support of others, programs and facilities are available for families and children in our area so that they may embrace a healthy and active lifestyle. We are proud to acknowledge the good works and generosity of Mr. Walters this evening during this portion of our program. Heart disease is the #1 killer of men and women, killing more people than the next 3 leading causes of death combined. It is estimated that 1 million people will die from heart disease, and for 450,000 of these individuals, their first symptom will be death from a sudden heart attack or stroke. This amounts to 1 death every 37 seconds. Heart disease is not only an adult problem. It is the 2nd leading cause of death in children, just behind accidents. With the obesity epidemic that is plaguing our nation's children, we are already seeing a negative impact of our children's quality of life. Type 2 diabetes, traditionally an adult disease, is increasing dramatically in school-aged children because of high levels of obesity. In addition, overweight children are much more likely to suffer heart problems, or worse, heart failure. With your support this evening, the American Heart Association is able to continue to battle our nation's #1 killer. Your gifts support research and education that just might be the answer for a sick child. A child right here in Hall County, a child like Katie. Please join us and give generously. Your gifts can save lives.